Felicia's in Florida. Felicia doesn't love me anymore. I'm just kidding.
Welcome to Hi Felicia. Hi Felicia. Hi Felicia.
Fel's in Florida. You bet your butt we're getting her on fucking horn. We're going to Zoom with her. She's with all the Altakakas. She's with Karen. She's with Abby. She's seeing everybody she loves. All the homies from Oceanside that moved to Florida.
Until then, it's Hi Casey with Casey and Casey. We're only talking about things Casey, Kansas City.
Oh, boy.
King Charles.
You know, you have this like ready to go. Anything
what are
with
the
KC.
KCs?
I don't know. I'm too tired to think. Casey,
Yes.
how was your week?
My week was great.
Thanks for holding down the fort.
Yes.
The family fort.
Thanks for holding down this podcast. This is my third week out of 4 that I am here.
Yeah.
Ready to just talk about
Listeners,
Severance and Traders. And now there's no Traders.
I know.
So
I got to tell
what
you.
am I going to talk about?
I got to tell you, it was really nice waking up this morning and not being stressed about watching Traders. I'm fine with it. Gone. I am.
That wasn't one of those, like, to me, Severance is more of one of those I got to know immediately. Like,
1,000%.
I never
but
felt like an urging.
For the
urge.
podcast, we were like, let's watch Traders. Let's Severance, then Traders for the pod.
I guess because we tape on Fridays.
Yeah, so I felt like we needed to watch it. The best thing about this trip was that I was able to watch Severance on the plane live at 9 p.m. And the best is that I really thought it was sweet. You called me kind of for like permission to watch it without me.
I would never, ever break the fidelity of our marriage by watching something without you. I wanted to see if I had that pass. Severance is like my Justin Theroux, I guess, where like,
And guess what? Did I not give you the pass?
you gave me the pass.
And then I said to you, because I was planning to take a nap,
And I still felt guilty.
and I said to you, text me at 9 p.m. And you did not. You didn't text me. I woke up on my own on the plane and I thought, it's 9:05 p.m. I got to tune in. And thank God I did, because I would have not been able to watch it today.
It was pretty great.
So
But
we'll
get
talk
there.
about we'll get there.
We'll get
so
there.
there's some news. And the best news is when it starts off with Jax Taylor, my homeboy Jax.
You're my buddy. I work with you, you
For those that don't know.
Sounds like Jax is up to his old tricks again.
For those that don't know, Jax Taylor blocked me on Instagram a very long time ago for posting his cameo and for showing how he makes a fool of himself when he went 5 minutes over. Everyone knows he came out, he's addicted to cocaine, blah, blah, blah.
Didn't see that coming.
But one of our listeners / friend, Sarah, sent me, because he's blocked, an announcement he made. He made an announcement that he's got a new podcast. Now, he had a podcast with Brittany together, but now she's doing that on her own. And his new podcast is called In the Mind of a Man.
So she got the podcast
Yep.
and the divorce.
Yep. In the Mind of a Man, and he's going on a tour, a podcast tour.
God.
New York dates have not been announced.
Are you going to go?
That's the type of thing that's
I
going
think
to...
you should confront him about his blocking.
Well, he's known...
In person, with a camera rolling.
Well, name drop Darren Karp. She's told me, like, he's known to block a lot. There's literally...
I would probably do the same thing
There's
too.
an
Like,
Instagram handle. There's an Instagram handle literally called Blocked by Jax. Like, he does it to everybody. So I don't feel that special. I mean, a little special. My
were
fave
one
is
of
that Lindsay
thousands.
Hubbard didn't ever block me. And she even brought up on Summer House this season that she was getting hate for the fact that she was getting paid for the baby announcement.
apparently, a guy from Summer House comes to my barbershop in the city.
If you don't have a goddamn name, but it's probably Wes, or is it
No,
Jesse?
he's new this year.
Oh, Emerald.
Yes. He's like friends with the people I work with, and they were all
Stop.
talking about Summer House. And I was like, oh,
Stop.
Marni watches that. And like, yeah, Emerald, he comes in here all the time.
Oh,
We've gone
my-
out with him and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so he is like the sexy, like he said he came in as he was an illegal immigrant when he came to America, but he is like known for having threesomes. He was married for immigration purposes. He says, quote unquote, he's in love. He was in love, but they call him like, he's like the sexy stallion. Now, the funniest thing about him on the show right now this season is he just doesn't give a shit. Like, he's not hanging around everybody. He goes out, he meets a girl, this girl's not signing a release. Every weekend he brings another girl to the house and we never see her. We never see her face. And then the next morning they're like, you brought a girl home? And he's like, yeah, she's here. And they're like, she left. He is a player.
Class act.
But tell me more. Who does his hair? And why don't you give a pitch?
Now I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
No, give a pitch for your hair salon at least, in case somebody wants to see you in the city.
Public Image NYC,
It's next to FIT.
27th between 7th and 8th.
So Bringing it back to the Bravo. I just thought that was funny. Also, what happened this week? You know my obsession with the Menendez brothers.
Yes, we all do.
Well, because I signed that petition, I got an email that there's a new petition that I just signed because
I don't sign petitions.
a new district attorney, Nathan Hochman, has taken office and he may be considering reversing all of the progress that has been made. So I did sign the latest Menendez petition. I think they should get out. We've discussed why. I think time is up.
I agree. I just don't.
Okay. In a few weeks, a judge is going to consider whether or not to grant the brothers resentencing. And those guys deserve to be resentenced.
Right. But here's the deal. If this wasn't such a highly publicized case, do you know how many other people are doing wrongful time?
Yeah. And Kim Kardashian's getting a lot of those people off now.
A lot of them or the high profile ones? How many
She's made them high profile.
How many?
I don't know, but none that I can name. That's my point. She's getting people off that we can't name.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying those guys don't deserve to be out, but I'm like, these guys are,
If this case was now during the TikTok trend, they would have never been sentenced. They were abused. Right. I'm not going to fight with you. I think this is ridiculous.
No, but I mean, we're not out there signing petitions for anybody else that doesn't have this sort of notoriety.
Well, I wasn't notified. Maybe I would.
I'll start bringing more.
Thank you.
Injustice to your attention.
One of your favorite people, Meghan Markle. I'm sure you heard about her show.
Why is she one of my favorite people?
That was a joke. Oh. Funny, I didn't see the show until tonight when my neighbor.
I'm pretty indifferent and.
Came over to chat, have a little wine, and we threw it on in the background. And I heard that it was just the reviews were awful. It's painful to watch.
Netflix show.
Yeah, with Love Meghan. But the news that I wanted to bring to the table was it got picked up for a second season. And what I did find out through my research, it's already been filmed. So there was no we got greenlit for a season 2. It always was greenlit for a season 2. From the get-go, that was the contract that she signed.
It doesn't matter how bad it was.
That's the thing. It's not rating that well. It's barely in the top 10 on Netflix, and it got picked up because it's already been filmed. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
Wow. But there's been a lot of updates on renewals and cancellations. This is a fun game. I'm going to name the show. You're going to tell me, is it renewed or canceled? CBS's The Neighborhood.
Canceled.
8th and final season. Yes, it was canceled. Conan O'Brien must go. You like that show?
It should have been canceled.
Wow, it was renewed for a 3rd season. I thought you liked it.
I love Conan. I didn't love the travel show.
Interesting. Cruel Intentions that I tried to attempt on Prime Video. If you recall, I mentioned this on the pod and I had to shut it off. Renewed or canceled?
Canceled.
Canceled. The Summer I Turned Pretty is not canceled. It was just an announcement that it's the 3rd and final season, really because it was a book. Fine. The big news. 2 big drops this week. Renewed or canceled? Landman.
Oh, renewed.
Can you believe it was just announced? It's like we knew it was going to be renewed.
Landman with or without John Hamm. I'll watch it.
And I said it. It's without. That trailer dropped with John Hamm's new show, Your Friends and Neighbors, and I cannot wait.
Wait, was there a trailer for season 2 of Landman yet?
No, I don't think
very telling if there's any Ham Man in there.
There's no John Hamm in Landman.
I'm a Ham fan.
Ted Lasso, big announcement today. Whew.
Renewed.
I mean, it ended. Sudeikis went on the fucking Kelsey podcast in the Heights, and it's coming back, which is wild. What do you think about that? That show ended, and
I
now
didn't
it's
watch
back.
it. I know I'm like one of 4 people that didn't watch.
It was so
that
good,
show.
except that last season wasn't great.
I tried to watch the first season. It was fine. It was just a little too, lighthearted for me. Sometimes I need some.
I loved it so much.
There was a tone and a vibe that I don't think I watched long enough.
You didn't watch long enough, like Shrinking. You didn't get enough time to.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get to what shows we watched this week on Circumcised Gems, we should zoom in, Felicia.
Yes, I have something very important I want to tell Felicia. By the way.
What is it? Oh, I cannot fucking wait.
I have.
You have a big news
announcement.
To drop.
Big announcement.
Big, huge. All right, let's try to get her on. Let's see if this works, guys.
Oh boy, this is going to be a thing.
We got Karen, Felicia, and Abby trying to get Felicia on connected to Zoom.
They can't hear us.
I don't know.
Blink twice if you're being held against your will.
You can't hear us.
You there? Can you hear us?
I did it. Thank you.
What was the answer?
I figured it out.
Sick.
Oh.
Can I just tell you one thing?
Please.
I'm happy they're here.
It's my friend.
She's crying.
I'm sure you guys haven't
She's
stopped
verklempt.
crying and drinking.
She's verklempt.
I'm verklempt.
How's Florida?
Let my people go.
Hot and gorgeous.
Hot and gorgeous.
I can
Yes.
relate.
Felicia is joined by her two besties, Karen, we all know, and Abby. Our Oceanside family is here. Tell us what you guys are doing this weekend.
Well, okay, we're going yesterday. Oh, what did we? Yesterday, Karen had a big ass party with 26 women and food. She did a whole, Karen, when she does it right.
Right.
Then we came across and Richard and Abby we drinking and eating
since 3:00.
Right, drinking and eating, and Richard made us all steaks, different varieties, and we literally just
finished dinner,
cleaning up. Right,
I didn't clean up yet.
well, whatever.
So, Felicia, I know I don't expect you to watch anything, but we have some news for you.
Okay.
So I do have a Korean update for you that I wanted to know if you heard about.
Tell me.
Did you know Vicky is adding a new K-drama called My Girlfriend is the Man to its lineup?
Oh, I haven't known about that one.
Yeah. It's based on a web comedy with more than 375 million views, so it's known. So look out for that one. But we have bigger news to tell you.
Yes.
Yeah, big news.
Casey has done, without you here
The
the
Lord's
past 2
work.
weeks.
It's been tough, Felicia. I'm going to be honest with you.
Sorry.
You have big shoes to fill. And
Okay.
you have a very large fan base of Korean content K-thusiasts.
Right?
I
And people
felt-
are listening who want to hear about the Korean content.
So I felt that I needed to deep dive into some Korean content. So
Okay.
I'm going to give myself a Korean minute here.
Okay.
He watched a show.
What show?
So I asked ChatGPT if I was going to watch one episode of one season of a Korean drama show. Which
Yes.
one should I watch?
And?
ChatGPT said that I should watch a show called Move to Heaven. Are you familiar with Move to Heaven?
No, maybe it's in a different.
It's on Netflix. It's a fantastic show about a young Korean autistic boy who works with his father, and they have a business where when somebody passes away,
It's a different name. It's a different name. It's a different name, and yes, I've seen it. And the father dies, and the autistic boy has to work with his brother.
with the uncle who is fresh
Uncle,
out of
right.
prison.
And the uncle wanted nothing to do with it. But
Wanted nothing to do with it, but he saw an opportunity.
Absolutely.
He thought that he could take the house, he
Yes.
could take the business.
Yes.
He
But they
thought he could
became-
take the whole thing,
They became very close,
and they become very close.
and every episode you cried.
And every episode you cry. I was in. I was only going to watch one episode, Felicia.
And you got sucked in.
I got sucked right in. Next thing I knew, I'm up at all hours. It's 2 a.m. Here, I got to see this thing through. It's crazy. That's my Korean minute.
Okay, and
Are
yes,
you
it was
impressed?
fabulous, and that was one of the first things.
So wild that it's on Netflix and it's called what's it called? Made in Heaven?
Move to Heaven.
Move to Heaven.
It's very similar, but I think the name is slightly different. Maybe when I go home, I'll have to check it out.
Okay.
Tearjerker.
Yes,
Tearjerker.
every episode.
I was
is about,
verklempt.
Are you a verklempt?
Verklempt.
And every episode is about a different dying person, obviously.
Yes.
Because
I want to watch.
they have to clean up. They go into the apartments or houses. They have to clean up and get all the stuff
All the things
out.
that people leave behind when they
Right.
die.
Right.
How many
Right.
episodes?
Right.
10
Yes.
episodes.
This is very uplifting.
One
And that's
season.
that's what they recommended.
That's what
That's what
ChatGPT said.
That's what AI told him to watch.
I only
AI?
do what AI says to do now.
ChatGPT is AI.
What a great source.
The source could have been my mother, but you decided to go to AI.
I wanted to surprise her with my homework. I didn't want to, I wanted to spring it on her.
Because you could only watch. I have Netflix. Obviously, Vicky. You don't have
Of course.
Vicky.
Well, we
No.
can
And
easily
everything
get
is on Vicky.
Well, I might be borrowing that password now.
It's an Asian. It's an Asian.
Abby
Asian
doesn't know what Vicky is?
Why
know.
Why would Abby know?
Why would I know?
I don't know. Maybe because she doesn't listen to the podcast.
She's not a K-thusiast.
No, okay, we have to give a shout out because I promised to
Shout it out.
Steve and Denny. Steve is performing Oklahoma.
He's playing the role of Curly,
And-
the lead in Oklahoma,
And they live in Cascades.
in Boynton Beach.
In Boynton Beach.
Shout
and
out Boynton
tomorrow
Beach.
night is the show. And we all came out to watch him.
We'll post a link to tickets.
I love this so much because Steve and Denny were one of the families that we grew up with.
Yes.
Friends with their children in Oceanside. And I always loved Steve. And also shout out to Steve because Steve gave Casey a lot of his vinyl records.
Yeah, it was very nice
that's
of him.
Right. Oh,
I
very
love
nice.
Steve so
Oh,
much.
very nice.
I
Really
wish
sad.
I would love to see Steve perform. I love this idea
I'll
of
take some
She'll take some
movies.
video, you know.
That's
Okay.
a very musical role, right?
Yeah, so, like,
Curly?
yeah.
Yay. And Denny sent me, I'm sure all of us, a little, you know how like they do the dress rehearsal before. So she filmed it with Steve singing.
can see.
Oh,
She didn't send that to me.
Is this like is this like Boynton Beach Community Theater?
No,
It's
just-
in their
it's
in their community.
It's their
Clubhouse community.
which is very big.
They have
So
a huge community.
Casey, when we retire, like I think this is
yeah.
my future. Like I'm gonna do community musical theater.
Yeah, and I'm gonna join a band. Like, what was the one that played in your
Oh,
community?
wait a minute. The jam session?
Wait.
I call them, you can call yourselves the Alta Caca.
Alta Caca Jam
Wait. Does Plainview do a musical theater situation?
No.
Karen, you would be all over this if they did.
I would be all over it.
You would be all over it. You'd be like camp directoring it up. It sounds like our family just likes going to Florida to support their friends in shows because me and Lennon are going back in May to see Miss Summer Gabanko starring as Cinderella in Cinderella. We love supporting our Oceanside family all over the country.
Yes, we do.
So I can't thank you girls enough. We love you guys. Mwah.
All right, guys.
Bye. Oh my God. I cannot get over that. Of course, Felicia knew the show that you watched.
Of course.
That was too good. Thank you for doing that. But really, how many episodes did you watch?
2.
And will you continue?
Probably. I really enjoyed it. It's
What?
a real tia joker.
What if I watched 2 and then we catch up together? How long would that take for us to get through it?
Really trying to bond with your mother.
No, would that take us like 3 months to get through?
10 episodes.
So why don't I watch 2, maybe this weekend if I don't sleep, and yeah?
Sure.
But there's a window of time between like Saturday and Monday where there's nothing on, okay? Like there's no TV. But you have Saturday Night Live, fine. There was just nothing on last weekend, and I was really in rest mode, and I tried to watch the new Suits, and I stopped before the first episode.
Did you try once before?
I watched Suits, original Suits. I watched 4 seasons of old Suits with Markle, with Megan. A lot of Megan today. Then, for the first time, Suits LA just came out. So I watched that. That's the reboot with Brian Greenberg, who I really enjoy. But the show, I just thought it was awful. If anyone likes this show, please tell me. So I couldn't watch that. I also tried to watch, and I think it's good, but I didn't continue watching it. Have you heard of a show called Deli Boys? I think you would like this.
No.
On Hulu. It's a comedy. It's a bunch of like these Indian guys whose dad owned all these delis, and all of it was like hidden for like drugs.
Deli, like DELI or DEA?
No, it's DELI. But that's funny if it was spelled like that. So there's a little bit of like, there's a lot of violence and mob vibes. And the father ends up dying and the 2 sons are like vying for his position. But then they find out that the dad was like just fucking dealing drugs secretly. So I tried watching that. I didn't finish it. And then for the plane ride, I decided, let me download A Simple Favor because Blake Lively's been in the news with the press of A Simple Favor 2 with her and Anna Kendrick, Paul Feig. You know who Paul Feig is?
Yes.
Paul Feig is the director of this movie. And I thought, I don't really know much about this film. I'm going to watch it. And I watched it on the plane and I really, really enjoyed it. In fact, when that sequel comes to life on any streamer, I'll watch it. Whatever we want to say about Blake Lively, I just enjoy watching her. I enjoy watching what she's wearing. I enjoy looking at her.
She's very problematic.
I don't care. I thought she was good in this. Anna Kendrick is great in this. They're 2 moms that met at school, and Anna Kendrick is the stay-at-home mom, and Blake Lively is the crazy working mom who's legit fucking crazy, constantly drinking, and decides to like run away and like fake her own death, like leaves her kid with her. I don't want to give it fully away, but I enjoyed it. And there's a sequel.
So she's like fully like working and putting things out in the midst of all this chaos.
Well, that is what is happening.
What about Justin Zamboni? Is he out there doing the same thing?
Justin Baldoni. Did you say that like incorrectly on purpose? There is backlash on the fact that she's promoting this movie, claiming that she's got so much PTSD from all the things Justin Zamboni, you know?
But he's still working.
Right, exactly. So before we get into Severance, which is obviously the show of the week, I downloaded 2 shows for the plane. One is called Adolescence, which I now see is killing it on Netflix. And it's 4 or 5 episodes. This just show's been getting rave reviews, okay? It's a British kind of murder mystery. It's about a kid who apparently maybe murders somebody that their parents are trying to figure out. But the thing with this is I believe every episode is taken on, is filmed as a oneer. Do you know what that means? A oneer, like one shot.
Oh, wow.
Which is really fucking difficult in the cinematic world.
How long are these episodes?
Like an hour, I believe. So I want to watch that, but I felt like this was so serious. I needed something light in case I did fall asleep. So I decided to watch Temptation Island.
Dear God.
Let me tell you something about Temptation fucking Island. I watched season 1 in 2001, okay? I don't believe I watched any more of Temptation Island. I know my friend Jamie, Miss Jamie G, watches Temptation Island all the time. So I thought, let me watch this. And it's cringy in the vibe of Love Island cringe, when everyone is just so ridiculously good looking and they're just living in bikinis and their confessionals are in bikinis. And now I'm realizing why I appreciate Love is Blind. I appreciate Love is Blind because they're not in bikinis. Even though people are pretty much attractive on Love is Blind, there's more of a range of bodies. And you have to really get to know someone's personality and they have to use their minds. On these shows like Love Island, which I could not get through, and Temptation Island, you don't. The host of Temptation Island, I could not believe was the same host as in 2001. Mark Wahlberg.
What a gig.
Not the Mark Wahlberg. Not that Mark Wahlberg. Another guy named Mark Wahlberg. He's aged.
So this guy has a career
Isn't
as
this-
the name Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
And didn't even put his middle initial in there
Nope.
to try to differentiate.
Nope. And he, back in 01, he's been hosting a ton of
Mark
shit.
J. Wahlberg.
Nope. Mark Wahlberg. Maybe Wahlberg is spelled differently without an H. Mark Wahlberg, to me, is the best part of the show. And I don't think he's getting enough credit. When they do this at the end of each episode, they go around a fire, the women and then the men separately, and they show video. And they did this on Love Island, like, of the dates that their boyfriends are doing on the other villa. Like, the idea is, like, you go with your boyfriend, you're having issues in your relationship, like me and you go to the men's villa, I go to the women's villa, and I'm tempted by 10 dudes, and you're tempted
By the fruit of another.
Tempted
by 10 women, okay? And what's interesting is it's so easy, I think, for women to just flirt with dudes and to get dudes to want them because dudes are just, horny. But the women who have to be tempted by the men, it's a little different because men they can flirt, but they're really more, it's more for women who get turned on by like talking and being emotions and being sensitive. In that realm, it's different. And the women who are tempting the men, they're just appear just sluttier. Like they're taking body shots. They're just very, very sexual. Okay.
Well, I'm sure they casted very layered people, so I'm sure they're tough nuts to crack.
During one of these things where like they show footage on camera of one of their boyfriends having a date with a girl, and it could be them making out, it could be the kissing, it could be this, and Mark Wahlberg is sitting there and he'll turn to them and then go, "So how does that make you feel?"
It's like Cheaters, the show Cheaters.
Sure, elements.
Remember when Joey Greco would show the footage of like,
Yes,
and be like,
yes.
do you see this? But
Yes.
it's like it's meant to rev them up so that they have a reaction when there's
Yes.
a confrontation.
But it's not that he's just revving
Shout
them
out
up.
Joey Greco.
He's really being like a therapist because he'll be like, "You are great. You're doing the right thing. There's a reason you're here." Like he's pumping them up. And I'm wondering if anybody we know that works on the show is production feeding him lines, because for him to have to really pay attention to like what's going on with each of these people and their personalities, and like he's really giving them sessions, like true mental mind blowing sessions. So I'm about halfway through, and you bet your butt that's what I'll be doing this weekend, finishing Temptation Island.
I can't wait.
And I can't believe I'm doing it. But I still have a love for Love is Blind. And I'm going to miss Love is Blind until the next season comes. So, Casey,
I wasn't impressed by it.
you did that just for the Shania Twain sound effect.
So you're a rocket scientist.
The only thing you watched while I was gone, I'm assuming, was Severance and the Korean content.
And Move to Heaven.
Okay, so let's talk Severance.
Let's get this party started.
I must have watched something else.
What did you watch? Oh, tell me about John Mulaney's special.
Oh, yeah, John Mulaney. Yeah, it's a pickup from his old Six Off, which was the Everyone's in L.A., and it was good.
Who was his guest?
His guest was Joan Baez. He had Michael Keaton And he always has kind of a normie. He had like a financial advisor from San Francisco Chronicle.
And what were they talking about? What was the subject? Was Keaton promoting something?
They bring Keaton out with the financial advisor, and like they just talk about stuff. I think the charm is how loose it is. Like,
are they talking about like their bank accounts? Like, what's the point?
They talked about borrowing money and like the ethics of lending people money.
I want to watch this now. You made it sound like it wasn't that good.
I think it's going to get its groove. But I also felt when I've watched the first time around back in last May, they did 6 episodes and it got better and better and better. So I think that they're getting their momentum back because it's a little loose because it's live on Netflix. It's like live around the world.
That batch that you're talking about previously, wasn't that back to back every night?
Yes.
And now this is weekly.
This is weekly.
So that's going to be hard for him to get that groove.
I don't know. I think it's going to come right back. I enjoyed it. I like John Mulaney. I've always thought he's a great host because he's like quick-witted.
Love Mulaney.
I mean, he's one of the best of our generation. Aww. So you watched it. But we watched White Lotus together. I caught up on White Lotus.
That was a long time ago now, it feels like. But you're right.
Only a few days ago. You were only in San Francisco for like 2 days.
3. But that's okay.
2 nights, 3 days.
Oh, my God. I love
We were there for basically 8 weeks.
I love White Lotus.
Yeah, it was great. I went back and I rewatched because, Marni likes to point out that I fell asleep every episode. So I went back and
Which is fine, but then I don't want to wait for it. Like, I'm going to continue watching.
Well, now you don't have to because I'm caught up. Now you have to wait for me. I did that just so you have to wait for me.
I mean,
you were trying to get away from this thing, but
Parker Posey was so good on this. I also heard that Jason Isaacs, his dick view, wasn't his PP. It was fake.
Yeah,
No, I don't. That some people don't go fake.
I don't know what I would do.
Oh, what would you do?
I feel like I would go fake because, I can handle the scrutiny of because
the internet is going to pause that.
There's going to be some mean comments just for the sake of mean comments.
In fact, I got to go back and pause. And now
I'm not thick enough skinned.
Now I want to go back and look at it again.
Just to see a fake wiener.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
there was a show
pick
called
it apart and say, I can tell that's fake.
On the show Sex Life, which was amazing, which Sarah, that chick from Paradise, was a star of, and her now boyfriend, she met on that show. He had a shower scene in the locker room, and his was real. It was not fake. That was very big news, and it was the long schlong. So, White Lotus, I just love it. I don't even remember what happened, but I just love it.
That's why I understand why you're listening to this supplemental podcast. Like, I know
because I like the interviews.
Easter eggs, and I'm like, okay.
No, they interviewed Jason Isaacs,
but all of the little details just
it's
aren't
not like a
when
Severance.
You're watching a show like Severance, those Easter eggs and details are so much more interesting.
I agree, but I think maybe there's Easter eggs that we don't know about. Yeah, but I like hearing the interviews with the actors. Yeah,
I'm enjoying it, but again, it's like. To me, it's one of those shows that I look forward to coming out, but I'm never like, oh, this is amazing television. It's
like Severance. You're so gung-ho Severance.
Well, we are currently living through one of the greatest series of in television history. So, of course, I want to enjoy.
So we listened to last week's companion podcast, and which was great was Jimmy Kimmel was on it, and he was saying how the last time he felt this way about a show was Lost, where you have to see it. You really Lost had a real deep dive. I thought that was
interesting that because Lost was ABC and so is Kimmel, he said that the executives weren't that excited about Lost, that he kind of took it on himself to have cast members on to really promote the show because he loved it so much and he didn't want to see it go away. So he tried to
I don't think I realized that. Yeah. Maybe I lost it there.
Yeah. So he
got advanced copies.
He got advanced copies. He was so in on Lost at the time.
Oh, so he helped promote it.
I loved the story he said about how he asked them if they had the ending figured out. They said, yeah, and he didn't believe them. So they wrote it down, put it in an envelope for him, and he didn't trust himself with it because he's afraid he was going to smoke weed one night and open it up. But they claimed they had the ending. But if they had the ending, it should have been better.
Well, that's unfortunately the biggest thing. But what year was Lost? Because with how crazy the internet is now.
Oh, Lost would have been insane. See, that's what I'm enjoying about all this is the in between the week of
Casey diving. Every day sends me another video on Instagram, which I do love, of somebody explaining the Severance episode.
And theories and things like that.
Yeah.
If the internet was what it is now back in the Lost days, it would have been so enjoyable to check Reddit or
but I bet you
watch
now,
Instagram reels about theories about what's what.
I bet you that's out now for people that are now rewatching it or binging it.
Yeah, but we already know what things are.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
We don't know what things are in Severance yet because it's not out.
All right, so what do you think, spoiler, what do you think happens at the end?
There's going to be some spoilers.
But what do you think
I think
happened at the end with Mark? seeing Patricia Arquette at the end, like there's a light kind of shining behind her head. What's going on there?
What's going on there is they went to the birthing room,
Right.
which is like
Is the birthing room where
from
that other
season one,
where that other woman
the
who
senator's
didn't,
wife who was severed. I think that's where all of this is going. If I'm going to pitch my theory, I think the world that Lumen is trying to create in this show.
I love this. And you know
Is
something. Like
where you
I
are
love your
severed
theory.
to a point where you no longer have to deal with anything uncomfortable or that you dislike. That's why Miss Casey on the testing room floor, Gemma, is going through every room of things she hates, from writing thank you
dentist.
notes, the dentist, to airplane turbulence. And what they do is they put her in a bad situation.
turbulence was a thing?
One of the
Why
rooms.
did I miss
So
that?
when she leaves the room, they ask her a ton of questions to see if her experiences from the inside trickle out to her outie. So they're developing a chip, I think, that people can go to places and have separate consciousness, so you can live a life without dealing with
Pain.
the things that
Right.
that are bothersome to you. I think that's where Lumen's perfect world is coming from.
So for Mark, it would be like grief.
Correct. Yeah, for grief. But also, like, there's something Neo-esque, meaning like Neo from the Matrix. There's an importance to Mark the same way there was an importance to...
I didn't do the Matrix.
That's fucking crazy.
I tried to. I actually couldn't. I stopped. I didn't
So
like
good.
it.
But the idea that he's like a chosen one of some sort, because that's where it all seems to be leading, is that like his work on that file, Cold Harbor,
Right.
is
That he didn't finish.
It's world changing when it's finished. He's up to like 98% or something, and like he didn't show up to work that day to finish the file. And Lumen was prepared to celebrate the greatest achievement in human history. Whatever his work is there, Lumen sees it as very important. And also, they made it clear that when he's done with that file, they're going to kill Miss Casey. They're going to kill Gemma.
Where did you get that from?
When they said we're going to kill, she's already dead. If
I
they-
can't be the
is
only
it-
person that watches this show and misses something.
That's why I send you the videos. Like Cobell said that if he finished the file, she's already dead. So they're already planning. They mentioned that a few episodes ago. They're going to.
And you're right, Bert was working for Lumen.
Bert was working
yeah,
for Lumen,
yeah. And-
but he saved Irving. In the
Yeah.
end.
So the question is, are we going to see next season Irving or Mr. Dillon? Who,
Dylan quit.
I know, I'm worried, but
At this point, he quit. Because they established in episode 1 of this season that if the innies want out, they have the right to leave.
So
That's
they
all
can leave,
part of
but is
their-
he still going to have a chip in his head if he wants to come back?
Yes, he'll, unless his Audi decides to remove the chip. But so there's no way he's going back in to that consciousness unless his Audi says, "I want to go back in," and that won't happen. It doesn't
Unless
seem like
his
that's very
wife
likely.
says you should go back.
Why would she push him in?
Because they need money, and it was a job paying. That's
Right,
why.
but he's mad because he feels like he was cheated on because
I know.
she kissed his in.
But I just don't
That
think this
sounds
is
gross.
I just don't think this is the last of him. I hope it's
I don't
not.
think so either because he's one of the best characters on the show. But at this point, he is unless his Audi brings him back to the office, his inside consciousness is dead.
Can you guess what my favorite line of the episode was?
Sure, once you say it, I'll be what?
Devour feculence.
Oh, that was what
Milkshake.
says.
Eat shit.
See, that was a big development too. Is he gave Drummond an
Devour
earful? There's a lot that
feculence.
happened in this episode. I think this was the episode to make up for the episodes. Like a lot of the format in these episodes have been like a lot of very cool, interesting episodes, but haven't really answered
And just
questions.
on
or
one
really-
character, this felt like it brought a
Not
lot of
just
people
one character,
back in.
but even like one of the coolest episodes was when they had that outdoor excursion. That was really cool, but it didn't answer any questions until the very end. And when you found out that Helly was actually her outie,
Right.
Like otherwise, that didn't move the story along.
Right.
This episode, I feel like, was playing catch up to all of those stories. It answered a lot of questions, and it moved the story with Dylan. It moved the story with Irv and Bert. It moved the story with Drummond and Milchek. Like that was an interesting part of the story. Everybody's character, and so yes, to answer that's a long explanation of your question. They go back to the birthing room because they want to talk to Mark's innie. That's a place they can take Mark, and once he goes
Why is his
inside that
innie in the
birthing room,
birthing room? He's not. They're saying bring him in
they're
there.
in the birthing room now.
Right,
That's where all
right.
that's where the light was behind Patricia Arquette. They want his innie to talk to Cobell.
As his innie.
Yes.
And why the
And they want
birthing? Why
questions
do they have to be
answered.
in
They
the
want to
birth?
ask him what's going
Why
on
do they have to
inside.
be in the birthing center?
Because that is a severed room.
That's not in the office?
It's not in the office.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a severed room.
severed
So when
room.
he walks in, it's like ding.
And what's crazy, the
eye
name
roll.
of this episode, I can't remember what it is.
It's After Hours?
After Hours, which is the name of a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
And
Saw that Instagram
the
video.
passwords they were using at the front gate were back and forth dialogue.
I thought
from that
last week's
episode.
was the Twilight episode.
The next
title.
two have Twilight Zone
That's
episodes.
so wild.
It's interesting. And so from that episode, when she talks about the golden thimble and this and that, that's all from that episode. So they're doing some weird like homage to Twilight Zone.
They are.
Anyway,
Well, when Severance is over, what are you going to do? You're going to watch it again from season 1? Like, I just feel like there's going to be a big loss for you as a person. I'm worried about you.
yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Do you need like a Severance support group?
I may need to be severed.
Well, let's talk about, there's some shows coming up,
What we're going to watch this week?
possibly.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh, by Felicia. I'm glad
Somebody's got to keep this fucking format on track.
So, yeah, I'm tired. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
So this new show, Adolescence, and there's a new show called Dope Thief on Apple TV. Apple TV's Dope Thief, Netflix's Adolescence. We got to pick one. I can't do both with you. So I'll let you marinate on that. The Karen Reed doc.
That I want to see.
That's
Basically
ID.
my wife.
Great. For those that haven't seen Honora, that's dropping on Hulu this week. Highly recommend it. And then on the 19th, this is another show we have to watch together. Guess what's coming out? Good American Family with Mark Duplass and Ellen Pompey, a.k.a. playing Natalia Grace
Oh,
and
gotta
Michael
watch that.
Barnett. We have such a big week ahead. There's so much new programming on. And Felicia will be back next week, everybody. So you guys, please.
get a break.
Please, wild. Please, share and because, it keeps us going when we hear great reviews. So thanks.
We need positive reinforcement.
Like.
Bye, Marni.
Hi, Casey.
Bye, Felicia.
My Felicia, bye Felicia.